So thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be with us here for this emotional recovery conference. I hope you are learning a lot and enjoying all these various speakers that we have today. I'm honored to introduce my friend Dallas Rush. He is an NLP and timeline therapy practitioner. He's also a goal wellness advocate with dōTERRA. He has a passion for supporting others using techniques through timeline therapy, which is helping you let go of past emotional trauma. And then NLP therapy creates breakthroughs using mind work with conscious and unconscious detachment. And so Dallas is just a fun guy to be around, and he's just awesome. I enjoy working with him and collaborating with him, and I'm excited to have him here as one of our presenters today.
Thank you so much, Nicole. I really appreciate that introduction. And likewise, the same feelings toward you. Can you hear me okay? I want to do a mic check. I'm using my earphones. Okay,
yep,
perfect.
I can hear you.
I've got this really cool kit that I want to talk about real quick, and I don't want to mention the name, but it's a yoga collection. It's really cool.
Oh, yes.
And I actually use that when I'm in my NLP techniques. So if you have those and you want to actually open those up, Arise is really good to get started and to get your mind going and body functioning. So I really like that. And I'm trying to be brand, what's the word I'm looking for? Brand vague.
We kind of threw out the window, so it's okay if you're.
Oh, did we?
We tried, but it didn't work.
Okay, I understand. So what we're going to talk about today, I'm actually going to mute my camera for just a second to go over some quick notes. And what I want to talk about is a few things to do with trauma, which is today's topic, about how to deal with it. And I want to go over our agenda today. It's going to take approximately 45 minutes, and I want to thank Nicole for putting this together. And it's been a great event so far. I've gotten in and off on a couple of different speeches today and presentations. And I also want to thank you for being my demonstration client today.
No problem.
I want you to think about this, everyone that's watching today. Our why, because we always need to determine our why in everything we do. The why today for me is I want to let you know that everyone in my mind is a first responder. What I mean by that is, think about it. If you're at a restaurant or you're at an event or you're driving down the road, you can come up on an accident. You can see a person having a heart attack, or you can be a part of a catastrophic event, which we hope, heaven forbid, that should ever happen. But you could be the first on the scene, trained or not. And what I want to talk about as a first responder, because I've been a firefighter for 16 years, and I'm a driver on our ladder company in Tennessee where I live. And in your own life, I want you to have the mindset of a paramedic, a firefighter, a police officer. As the lights in emergencies, as the lights and sirens go off and emergencies emerge, because it can happen at any time, and this isn't a negative thing. I just want to prepare you. I want to prepare the mindset shift for something that when it does happen. Now, what mindset shift does a person need to charge into a challenge like a first responder? Because think about it. While everyone else is running out of a building, I'm running into a building, right? I've got to have a positive attitude. Just like everyone on here needs to have a positive attitude and realize that whatever situation is, it existed before you got there, or as it happened, and there's nothing you can do to prevent that. So what we're here to do is we're here to help, and we're able to actually take charge in an event, whatever that event is, and help out people. Okay? So there's been some things that have happened lately. We won't talk about those because I don't want people to elicit negative thoughts in their mind. I'm on vacation right now, and I'm taking time out of my vacation to actually let people know that you do have a purpose in this world. And you have a purpose everywhere you go, everywhere you walk. You have an opportunity to serve. I have a servant's attitude. I know Nicole has a servant's heart. We're all here to serve, and we're all here to make the world a better place. And I want to keep track of time. So I've got about 30 minutes or so, roughly?
A little bit like 35. You're doing good. Okay,
35 minutes, good. So what I want to talk about today is we're actually going to talk about timeline therapy. We're really just going to scratch the surface with timeline therapy today. And neuro-linguistic programming is NLP. Most people don't know what NLP is. You might have heard of it. But NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. Neuro meaning of the mind. Linguistic meaning the language of the mind, and programming is the things that happen in our life to program us. either positive or negative, okay? And neuro-linguistic programming is something that you're actually being exposed to just about on a daily basis, right? When you think of a hamburger restaurant, what do you think about? I mean, and I can just ask you vaguely.
The first one that jumped into my mind was McDonald's.
And why do you think that is?
Because they're everywhere.
That, and ever since you were a little girl and I was a little boy, we've seen the Golden Arches and Ronald McDonald, right?
Yep.
Hamburglar, all those things. And they have the Happy Meal, which I'm not going to talk about, you know, health and eating right today, but it's not a Happy Meal, folks. Let's don't go there. Okay. So anyway, so we talk about neuro-linguistic programming, and we talk about, I mean, it's everything from campaigning when you know, people, presidents or you know, really Republican or Democrat, everybody uses neuro-linguistic programming. But today what I want to do is I want to actually expose people to NLP and timeline therapy in a way in which you can, and this is just going to scratch the surface, but how you can remove some negative emotions, okay? There are negative emotions that you can remove, whether it's fear, anger, resentment, I mean, you name it, there's negative emotions that can be removed. So any negative emotion, you can use timeline therapy to remove. And I'm so confident in telling you this, my posturing is this. We have a 100% success rate in NLP and timeline therapy. 100%. All you have to do, the client has to be willing to take instruction, follow instructions. And if you can do that, you can absolutely have breakthroughs. And this can be used for everything. If it's economic, like let's say you've reached a block and you're not able to make, but let's say $100,000 a year. You've never in your life ever been able to make more than $100,000 a year. You have that block. Okay, that's a limiting belief. We can remove limiting beliefs with NLP and timeline therapy. Okay, or you weren't able to get a promotion for whatever reason. You think you just cannot get promoted at this job for whatever reason. You can actually remove those negative beliefs and remove those limitations and actually get that promotion. It's kind of like, I'll just say that as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he.
Yep.
As a woman thinketh in her heart, so is she, right? And we can always do whatever you think you can do. If you think you can or think you can't, you're exactly right. And I'm not going to beat around the bush. I just want to talk about some general things real quick. And so I just wanted to talk about that. Now, Nicole, have you been thinking since we talked last night exactly what negative emotion you would like to release?
Yeah, if we can work on fear, that would be great.
Fear, okay. So the negative emotion about fear. So let me get to, and I actually, just like, I'm an emerge student, and I'm sorry, I just said a brand, but I went through a sales training lately, scratch that from the record, but I went through a sales training lately that really helped me a whole lot. And what we do is we actually have scripts in NLP and timeline therapy. I have scripts as well. And the reason why I have that is because I never want to deviate. Every student is going to get the exact same training and the exact same, participation level. So when we're talking about fear, I'd like to know right now, I want you to elicit your timeline. And what I mean by that is I want to know can you remember something that happened 1 week ago?
What's today, Saturday? Actually, no, I don't remember what I did last
Okay, that's wonderful. It happens, okay? So if I were to ask your unconscious mind where your past is and where your future is, I have an idea that you might say it's from right to left or from front or back or up and down in some general direction in relation to your body.
Okay.
And it's not your conscious concept that I'm looking for. I'm not interested in that. It's your unconscious. So if I were to ask you to meditate and ask your unconscious mind where your past is, in which direction would you point?
Behind
the past. Behind you. Great. Okay, now, and your future? Where would your future be? What direction would you point if I ask your unconscious mind where your future is?
It's forward and up.
Forward and up. Excellent. Okay. Now, one thing I want you to realize is that this is an unconscious direction. So you just did that unconsciously because most people think either left or right, back to forward, bottom to up. You just said from behind you was your past and in front of you was your future. So now I've already done the elicitation. So what I want you to do is I want to discover the root cause of fear because that's what we're talking about today, right?
Yeah.
Now, I need to ask you this question. Is it all right for your unconscious mind for you to release this fear, negative emotion of fear today, and for you to be aware of it consciously?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which
I
I
want
do
to
have to
find,
say, like, we just talked about muscle testing. My body actually went forward.
right?
Like,
How cool was that?
yes.
And that's what I'm doing. As a properly trained person, I'm not only listening to what you say, but I'm watching your body language.
Yep.
And I'm also seeing your face, the tone, the facial expression, your color, everything. Okay. So it's really interesting.
Probably a little redder
So
than normal because I'm a little feverish, but it's all good.
that's okay. So what was the root cause of this problem? The first event, which when disconnected, will cause that problem of fear to disappear. If you were to know, was it before, during, or after your birth?
Before my birth.
Really?
Yeah.
That's excellent. Okay. Now, if before, was it in the womb or before that?
Before that.
Okay. Excellent. Was it in a past life or was it passed down to you genealogically?
Ancestors, so genealogically.
Okay. Fear? Then fear is what we're talking about. So if we're talking about genealogical, do you know how many generations ago would have created that fear?
I'm feeling 7.
Okay. So now what I want to do is I want you to elicit a timeline. And what we just talked about on the timeline was your past was before you, which is behind you.
Yep.
And and now the future is in front of you and up, right?
Yep.
So I want you to close your eyes and I want you to envision your timeline. And I want you to float up above that timeline. And I want you to float over to the past. Okay, over the past, which to position 1, which is in front of the event, facing the past. And when you get there, notice the event in the past, which might be an ancestral event. It doesn't have to be an event that you know about. Let me know when you're there.
Okay.
Now, float up to position 2, and that's directly above the event, directly above in the past, so that you're looking down on the event. Looking down on an event which would have created fear.
Okay.
Ask your unconscious mind what it needs to learn from that event. The learning of which will allow you to let go of the emotion, that negative emotion of fear, easily and effortlessly. Your unconscious mind can preserve those learnings so that if you need them in the future, they'll be there. Preserve the positive learnings so that if you need them in the future, they'll be there. But ask your unconscious mind what it needs to learn from that event. And when you have the learnings, tell me what they are.
This is crazy, Dallas, just FYI.
Really interesting.
So the event was actually like a child being beaten by a parent, like not
Okay.
like beaten, but like physically reprimanded.
I understand.
And the lesson was that it's, we don't need to fear others' choices.
Are there any other positive learnings digging deep down?
That what serves as a child does not serve as an adult.
Are there any other positive learnings that happened in that event?
Forgiveness of self and others.
Okay. Are there any other positive learnings from that event you want to hold on to?
That's it.
Okay. Now I want you to float to position 3, which is above the event and before that event. and you're looking toward now. Make sure that you're well before any of the change of event that led to that event, and ask yourself, now, where are the emotions of fear?
So the fear is in the future.
Because it hasn't happened yet, right?
No, yeah.
So can you feel fear?
Sorry, say that again.
Can you feel fear?
No.
Float down inside that event to position 4, which is inside the event, looking through your own eyes as if you were there, and check on the emotions. Are they there, or have they disappeared?
They're not there. It's like I'm just witnessing it, and it happened, but I don't feel the emotional connection.
Go back to position 3, which is before the event. Okay, so you're above the event and before the event and looking toward now. Make sure you're well before any of the change of events that led to that event, and ask yourself now, where are the emotions?
I can't find it.
Float down inside the event to position 4, associated. You're looking through your own eyes and check the emotions. Are they there, or have they disappeared?
They're gone.
Yeah, good. Now I want you to come back to now, above your timeline, only as quickly as you can let go of any fear on any of the events, all the way back to now. So if there was any fear associated with any other events past that event, all the way to now, go to position 3, which is just before any subsequent event, and preserve any learnings if there are any new learnings. And let go of any of the fear or fight or flight all the way back to now. And let me know when you're back to the current time.
Okay, I'm there.
Float down into now, come back into the room. You smell popcorn? That's called breaking state, what we just did, because it totally removed you from any of the thoughts that you had, any of the breaking of emotions or whatever. So we just broke state right now. Now, awesome. I want you to remember any event in the past. So what we're going to do is we're going to test you right now. Okay, can you remember any event in the past where you used to be able to feel that old emotion of fear? And I want you to go back there, and I want you to notice if you can feel it. You may find that you cannot.
It's gone.
Good. Come back to now. Now, I want you to, we're going to test future pace, what's called future pace, and you're right now in the room, and I want you to go out into the future to an unspecified time in the future, which, if it had happened in the past, you would have felt inappropriate or unwarranted fear. And I want you to notice if you can find that old emotion, where you may find that you cannot. Okay, good. You smell popcorn?
Yeah,
okay.
That's crazy.
That's awesome. Candy-coated caramel popcorn that's terrible for you, right?
Yes.
We're in a candy shop. I'm in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, for crying out loud. I've got to talk about candy, right? They're everywhere. So now I just want to tell you, since we've already broken the rules, I would have been using Arise and a diffuser during that. Right now, I would be using Anchor, which is a yoga oil called Anchor, to anchor that positive feeling that you have right now. And I would also use Align also to make sure that all of your chakras and everything is aligned, positive energy, and feeling everything positive moving forward. I don't need my book anymore, so I'm going to walk around and I'm going to answer any questions you have, because I know we have a few minutes of filler time. and I want to make sure that I can answer any questions that you have with what we just performed. Because we just removed one negative emotion. There are several different negative emotions. There's about 5 major negative emotions that can actually affect a person. And we can remove all 5 of those negative emotions in about 30 to 45 minutes. It's absolutely incredible. This can be done individual. It can be done with a husband and wife that are going through traumatic situations, or it can be done in a group setting with a master practitioner of NLP. So, do you have any questions for me, Nicole, or is there anything I can do to better my presentation with y'all?
So this is new. I've never experienced this before. I love how easy energy shifts
Absolutely.
when you know what to ask for. And just guiding the mind and just putting yourself in those circumstances. It's crazy what pops in, but you have to trust your intuition, right? Because
Well, I mean, it's not even really trusting your intuition. It's trusting your subconscious, because you don't realize how powerful the subconscious mind is. Have you ever been at a place and you just get this feeling, maybe a goosebump like I'm getting right now on my arm? Have you ever had that the spirit? I call it the Holy Spirit, but I recognize everybody's model of the world. But we're gifted with these intuitive talents and these things, as the unconscious mind is so powerful. If we could tap into the energy of the unconscious mind 100%, I truly believe there's nothing we can't accomplish, and there's no holding back. I mean, if it's economic, like I said, if you haven't ever been able to reach a certain economic level and you want that, we can actually do that, and we can, like that. I mean, it's so impressive how quick it is, and how it truly, I don't want to say we cure things, because we don't cure things. All I do is I get a person's mindset to actually thinking and dealing with their subconscious mind in a way that they can make major breakthroughs in life. And I'm not asking you for content. It's not like a psychologist. It's not like a counselor where you go to marriage counseling or you go to a psychologist to talk about a major event that happened in life. I'm content free. I just need to make sure that you can recall it. You don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell me anything that goes on. This is content free. I've dealt with many people, and I won't, many abuse victims, rape victims, people that have taken, me being a first responder, I've dealt with people that have been in major fires and had some major loss of life, and dealing with that, and just realize that you can disassociate yourself from that feeling while preserving the positive learnings that you need to carry you forward in life and to learn and just to be able to make an impact on the world.
Well, and that's so important too, because we do need to have those. We do need to keep those lessons, because we do go through those experiences to learn lessons. And if we just go through negative experiences and we don't learn anything from them, it's kind of pointless, and we're going to keep having those lessons, right? But being able to keep it content free also, because a lot of people, I think, shy away from traditional therapies and things like that because they don't want to dig up the past. They don't want to relive the trauma. They don't want to go through that. But through techniques like this, like the NLP and the timeline therapy, you're able to heal and release that without having to drudge up all the yucky nasties that come along with yucky nasty life experiences, right?
Right. Absolutely. I just, I know that everyone that's going to watch this video, everyone that's been a part of today's event totally, they have certain gifts and talents that they were born with, and everyone wants to serve. I mean, it's in us. It's innate. It's bred into us that we want to serve. Okay, things happen. You want to help people. I mean, you can help people in a massive way just by sharing positive information with people and letting people know there are resources to be able to help a person get unstuck in life. Because just because something happened to you or to someone that you love, it doesn't mean that you have to carry it around. And I don't want to use the word loosely or the phrase loosely, but baggage can get heavy. Okay, I had 4 major instances that happened. And how many minutes do I have? Because I want to talk about this real quick.
Oh, you're doing great on time. You've got about 15 minutes.
Perfect. I had 4 major instances that happened. I had, you might have heard of a boy named Noah. There was a story about a year and a half ago, and this little boy went missing, and that was one of the events that took place in my life. That I was one of the search and rescue people looking for this little right at 3-year-old boy, and after that I had a major fire, and after that I had another major event that happened that was a catastrophic event, and what I come to find out is, see, I thought at this point I wasn't NLP certified. I didn't even know about NLP. I had heard of it, but I didn't know about it really deeply. I just knew about essential oils, and I had essential oils. I had things that I could use, but I didn't have every single thing I needed as far as tools to work. Because the fire department, they actually had grief counseling. They had, trauma, conferences and stuff like that we go to, but it didn't really prepare me for those major instances that happened in that year of my life. Well, what that did, and I don't mind being really open about it, it ended up bringing home a lot of negative emotions. It ended up bringing home into my marriage a lot of potential catastrophe. I was distanced. I was guarded. I was uncertain of myself. I was uncertain of the decisions that I had made during those instances. And I really didn't know how to cope. I called a guy that's a really good friend of mine, and I asked him, I said, I know you're into NLP, and I know that you're really good at what you do. I have that feeling. I have that vibe. I need your help. I'm really, really struggling with some things. I want you to know this is the kind of servant this guy was. He came to my house. He said, when can we meet? I said, as soon as you want. I said, I would love it anytime if I could just get a favor from you. And I knew that he charged a lot, but I asked him to do me a favor. He came to my house at 8 o'clock. He drove an hour and a half to get to my house. Got to my house at 8 p.m. We put our daughter to bed, and my wife and I talked to him until 11:30 that night, 11 or 11:30 that night. This guy left his wife to come to our house late at night because he realized there was a need. I saw this. I experienced it. And the stuff that I had been struggling with was released in about an hour and a half to 2 hours. And then after that, we were building positive anchors. It's called positive anchors. He was building. That way, if I needed something, if I needed a resource tool, I had positive anchors that I could touch on that would relive that positive, uplifting feeling that he had instilled in me. I was so intrigued by that I actually went and I asked, whenever the next course is, I want to be a part of it. Because I'm the kind of person that I can't just experience something that had changed my life and keep it to myself. But I also didn't want to be a loose cannon, right? I had to go and actually, learn the positive learnings and figure out how all the techniques and methodology work. So I learned about that. And I became an NLP practitioner. And then I took the timeline therapy practitioner course. And now I'm furthering my education and becoming a master practitioner of NLP and timeline therapy. So and there's a train behind me if you're wondering. So I just want you to know, anybody, there's our key right there. Anybody can move down the tracks of life. You can blow your whistle and you can move down the tracks of life, right?
That's
You got to be able to roll with the punches. You got a distraction, make it a good key point. Move on down the tracks.
So good. So let's open it up for questions. If anybody and any of our participants have questions about timeline therapy or NLP. I'm trying to think. I had a question, and of course it left me because that's what happens with my brain.
Well, what I try to do in the presentation, like my talk just now, is I always try to answer the questions during the talk. That way there really isn't any questions at the end. It's just, I want to be helped. So.
Yeah. And I think that's important too, because to understand and to understand what's happening and what the process is going through, and just trusting the process, because really it's crazy what happens when we trust the process and we allow that healing to come and take place. Because I think a lot of times, and I don't know if this is just American culture or whatever, but we think that things have to be hard, that you have to trudge through mud and dirt and gunk to get better. And that's
Absolutely.
not true. That's not true. And there really are just so many amazing tools that we're learning about today that can help healing so much faster and easier and less messy than what traditionally we thought it had to look like.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Nicole. We don't have to, just because we were raised maybe in a single parent home, or maybe because we were raised in a certain atmosphere, we were raised around certain, harsh environments, it doesn't mean you have to carry that forward. It doesn't mean you have to hang on to that. You can grow from that, and learn from that, and move on and change the world one person at a time.
Exactly. And you can change the world one person at a time, and share what you learn. So that's a great challenge, I think, for everybody listening today. Share with people that you've learned. Share something. I'm sure you've hopefully learned at least one thing. Share that with someone, because that might be the missing piece, because we all have those missing pieces, right? That like, okay, now it all connects.
There you go.
So yeah, you never know. So Dallas, thank you so much. Let me I'm going to put up did you have anything else to add?
No, basically, my contact information is going to be on the slide that you put up. Yep. And I just want people to know, if you're going through any type of counseling or anything of the sort, whether it be marriage counseling, individual counseling, whatever, my wife and I are both practitioners of NLP. So I have a lot of ladies are comfortable working with me because they just like my vibe I put off. And a lot of women want to work with just a woman. So my wife is also a NLP practitioner and timeline therapy practitioner. She also she's just a very intuitive person, and husband and wife, we both love helping people. So if there's anything we can do to help people, we do a complimentary session to see what a person's blocks are, and then after that we have it's really, really affordable, because if people have been getting regular counseling, and especially if you're doing cash out-of-pocket counseling, you don't have insurance or that isn't covered, it's extremely, extremely affordable and extremely fast. So you don't have to have 8 or 10 sessions. Yeah. Most people, 1 or 2 sessions, and they've removed all these blocks that they've been dealing with for years. Because counselors, they get paid to talk. I get paid to listen. Okay? So that's awesome. It works. So God bless everybody. I really thank you so much for inviting me on here, Nicole. And again, I'm here to answer any questions anyone has. And my contact information is on there. My website is actually in the middle of a big revamp and rebranding, because not only do I do essential oils, which obviously I do, but I'm doing NLP and timeline therapy. And I wanted to make sure I integrated everything. Right now, that's a redirect to my dōTERRA website. So don't sign up if you're not a wellness advocate, okay? I'm not promoting myself that way. That would be very, very nasty. I don't do that. But we are going to have a website up, and Facebook is the best way to get in touch with me. My Facebook profile is on that link, and I will have the website up and running in less than 7 days.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Dallas. I learned so much.
Thank you, Nicole. Have a wonderful day.
You too. Enjoy your vacation.